Hello friends, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel if you're enjoying the instruction that I'm giving you. So today we're going to be talking about our fourth finger. So I feel like our fourth finger is definitely the most difficult finger to play with and the one that students most often have trouble with. So why is that? Well, our third and our fourth finger, so your ring and your pinky finger, share a tendon in your hand, and these are the only two fingers that do so. So when I move my fourth finger, my third finger wants to move also. Same thing if I move third finger, just to a smaller scale. So basically, anytime you want to move your fourth finger, your pinky, your third finger is going to want to come with it. So what we are doing is basically training your fourth finger to work independently. I do think it is a good idea to have fingers 1, 2, and 3 really solid before attempting to use your fourth finger. In the Suzuki books, we don't get to fourth finger until Perpetual Motion, which is, I believe, the 9th song in the book. So we've had several opportunities to establish, good intonation with 1, 2, and 3, good hand frame, proper setup, and everything like that before attempting our fourth finger. So if you've never played with your fourth finger before, here are some preliminary exercises to try. So our first exercise is simply going to be tapping our pinky finger on the spot where it should go. So our pinky finger is going to be the same note as the string above it. So if I'm putting my fourth finger on A string, I'll be playing E. Fourth finger on D string is A, and then fourth finger on G string is D. If you don't have tapes, this is a good way to gauge if you're playing the correct pitch or not. So first step, all we're doing is tapping. Teaching that fourth finger to move independently and also strengthening it. Our second step would be to pluck the string. So we're actually hearing a significant amount of sound. Again, really just getting that pinky finger strong. After that, I encourage you to go up and down each string, first without the bow. So if I start on E string, start open, 1, high 2, 3, 4, and back down. I would practice this on every string. And then I would add my bow and play it. You can either play maybe a Twinkle rhythm if you're using the Suzuki method, or you can play just long bows. I'll play Mississippi Stop Stop. So, did you hear how when I played my fourth finger, my open E string started to ring because it was really in tune? That's what you're aiming for. After you feel really comfortable using your fourth finger like that, going up and down each string, then I would suggest going back into old repertoire, so repertoire that you already know really well, and adding the fourth finger in there. A really great exercise to practice this on is lightly row, because it keeps it all on the A string. So here are some things to remember when we are placing our pinky finger down. So first of all, we don't want to change our hand shape in any way. A lot of times what happens when we put our fourth finger down is that our wrist sticks out like this. We think that sticking our wrist out is going to make our pinky finger longer, but it actually makes it shorter. If anything, the wrist should come in ever so slightly, okay? It's a good idea to practice these exercises that I just outlined in front of the mirror, so you can make sure you're not doing that. Next, we do want to make sure we land our pinky pretty much on the tip, but I wouldn't be so concerned with curving the finger, especially if you have a shorter fourth finger. I know that when I play, my pinky isn't completely curved. It kind of has this, I don't even know what shape that is, honestly, but it's kind of straight and then it like bends at the knuckle. And I think that is completely fine. I wouldn't worry about getting a perfectly curved fourth finger. Next, as you're going down the string, so as you're going from E to G, we are going to need to swing our elbow inwards. So if this is my E string level, my elbow is right under my instrument. I swing it in a little bit for A string so my fourth finger can reach. Even more for D string. And even more for G string. If you're having trouble reaching over here, you need to swing your elbow in and you really need to make sure you're not sticking out your wrist. It's also very easy to get tense when we are using our fourth finger. You know, we think it's hard and we have this kind of mental block, so we tense up when we are playing with our fourth finger. When in reality, we should do the opposite. We never want to have any unnecessary tension when we're playing. So a good way to practice or to check for this is put your fourth finger down and then make sure that you can wiggle your thumb up and down like that. If you can, that means your thumb is nice and soft and you are not squeezing, which is what we want. Remember, we do want to place our fourth finger down on the very tip. It's okay, again, if it's not perfectly curved. Also, when you're placing fourth finger, be careful that none of your other fingers move. So I feel like it's really common for at least third finger to like slide up when you're placing fourth finger. We are really feeling a big distance between our third and fourth finger, especially at first. But once you keep practicing it, it will feel natural, I promise. You know, utilizing our pinky finger is probably one of the most difficult aspects about violin playing, because if you think about it, if you didn't play an instrument, when else would you really use that pinky finger? So we really have to build up its strength, really be patient with yourself. And if you follow these steps, I guarantee you that you will have a beautiful fourth finger in no time. Finally, a really great exercise for practicing your fourth finger is Shadiak number 1. I love this exercise. I play it every single day. It's going to be so good for developing your hand frame, for strengthening that fourth finger, for the independence of the fingers, which means the fingers can move by themselves instead of having to move together. It can also help you play faster as well. You can find Shadiak number 1 for free on IMSLP, but I'll leave it linked in the description box here below. Please let me know if you have any questions at all about using your fourth finger, and thank you so much for watching.